Good afternoon. I'm in Schulenburg, this is the sign. It's the most nondescript sign I've ever seen. Anyway, so there's Prudence. So just going out for the day. Population 2,633 people. So this is one of the Czech towns, and it's famous for some of the painted churches that I'll also visit hopefully today, and other industry. A very small town, but it's historical in regards to like the Czechoslovakian population that came here many years ago. Probably like I think in the 1800s, I don't know. Anyway, there's a history to it, and we have a lot of German and Polish and other European countries, which is why we have barbecue, which is where the barbecue came from. It actually came from the Czechs and the Germans and the Polish. So that's a good fun fact for you. Okay, it's very, very hot right now. It's like 88 degrees for some reason. It was cold this morning. So I am now heading into town to go to the model airplane museum. And I'm parked on the side of the road here, so I should probably head into town, probably grab something to eat before I go and do my excursions. So my first stop is the Model Aircraft Museum, which looks really interesting actually. There's a place in Oklahoma where you can actually fly, like they have a whole area in one of the parks where you can actually fly the model airplanes, and it's really cool. And I rode my bike around. It was around the lake in Oklahoma City, and then they have a designated section for the back up here, designated section for flying the model airplanes. So yeah, let's check this out.
Marketed one of the most respected diverse lines in the field of aeronautical products to the world. These two Texas farm boys achieved their dreams through hard work, accumulation of knowledge, and a fierce determination to succeed in a calling so unknown to the area's citizens.
About 2 blocks south of here, because all this was their grandparents' land at one time, and
How they worked with each other.
control chaos.
That's awesome.
What they got for this ride was just about every carnival ride in existence has some feature that's in this ride.
I feel less terrified now that there's like legitimate history to these rides. I see them at carnivals. I'm like, I'm not going on that thing.
The one I don't like is the one, it's 2 arms and they have these. And so this is the factory they built in the early 30s. And they hired some people to put together the model kits rather than carving the solid models that the Texas Centennial in 1936. And then in 1938, they took it to Cleveland, Ohio for the Great Lakes Exposition, and then in 1939 it was in New York City, featured at the World's Fair plane. And initially it was just basically a leash, And then they added a second line where they could control the elevators and make the plane do little cutesy things. And then they were able to figure out how to do both jobs with only one line. And the first handle was just an old fishing pole. They were not afraid to think outside the box. The helicopter, but you could set your figurines down and then you could maneuver the helicopter and try to save them. And the one holding the circle is a woman. So one machine. And they were the first ones in any of the southern states to use this. They didn't use it exclusively in the Northeast. And so they made headlines all over the country. I bet. Or every part that they had, not only on the toys themselves, but also on the control handles. And they decide what they were going to be working on one day. They put in the proper mold, put in the colored granules they wanted, and then everything would come sliding out. And if something wasn't right, they just break it into little pieces, remelt it, and they could use it all over again. Then they wanted to create the dihedral, and that is the upward shape of the wings. And they wanted to do several at a time and make it, of course, faster. And so they went ahead and they invented this. It was actually attached to an air tank that would apply pressure, and then that created the dihedral. And then a low heat oven, complete with the rack, and then they would bake it for a while. And then they pull out the wings, and then they might notice that they had missed an air bubble or a wrinkle when they glued it on. So of course that would have to be thrown away. So to eliminate that problem, they confiscated their mother's washing machine. And while the glue was still wet, they ran it through the wringer, and that smoothed everything out. Springs that you see here, they needed to have something to cover up maybe a little rough spot that might crop up in the hole that the line came out of, and these were the nose cones of the control handles. And so they came up with the idea of using the springs. It was easier to fly the planes that way. And so the lady that worked on this came to me and she said, well, this is incorrect. These should be all empty. The bottom one, it would be okay to have a spring in. I guess everybody that was from their area, they got a wagon train together, and then they went to High Hill, which is just outside of.
That was super interesting. So now I'm going to head over to the Texas Polka Museum. I think it's open. There's not any information online as to what time it's open, but I think it closes at 3. So that was super cool. Who knew that all those dodgy carnival rides came from this place? So now I'm not so terrified. Anyway, so I think I'm going to grab a quick snack as well. I'm right near the main street, 2 minutes away from the other museum, and then I'll go to the painted churches. So here I am. So that was super fun. I love these like small little towns. The history of the European immigration is really super interesting. They all came into Galveston in the 1880s or 1890s, I think, on the Ben Nevis from Liverpool. And they all got to Galveston and said, this beach frickin' sucks. We're gonna go inland. And then they came inland and they ended up creating all these little towns and bringing all this culture and industry. So anyway, it's very American. It always reminds me very much of America. And this is why I went to college in a cornfield in Indiana, because it looked like Little House on the Prairie. So I love it. It's so American. And then there's like all the commercial stuff, like a McDonald's and fitness place. And anyway, but yeah, so take a look at this. So that's the main street in Schulenburg. Your general, layout. You've got the downtown. You've got little antique stores, lots of antique stores, and then you have the train station. So I'm gonna find, of course, like most of it's like shut down and run down, but I think the Polka Museum is right over here, but I don't know if it's open. It should be right up here. Sorry for all the bugs on my windshield, but it's literally like right here. This should be fun. Who's that guy? Weird Al Yankovic. He plays the accordion. My mom played accordion actually when she was young. I don't know if she played polka music, but I don't know. It's right next to a gun store as well. So Texas. And they're blasting polka music outside. This may be like terrifying. I don't know. No, actually it's kind of fun. All the I don't know, Oompa Loompa music. Okay, I spent about 2 minutes in there. That music was driving me crazy. That was interesting. It's just old lady is in there and she's like telling me about like the history. It just looks like a bunch of pictures of local people that play instruments and stuff. And they have festivals and all that, but not much else, just one room. So that was short and quick. And I'm going to go to the painted churches now and then head back to Houston. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. It's so hot right now. It's like 90 degrees again. People, it's October. Where is fall? So these painted churches are Catholic churches, so naturally they've got the whole... What is that baby doing? Bungee jumping? I don't know. As you know, we don't have any rights as women in Texas, but this isn't a political channel. So anyway, I'm here for the architecture only and nothing else. So this is St. John the Baptist Catholic Parish, and this is a painted church. So these are, there's about 20 of them, and they are notorious for Texas, and they're beautifully painted. So I'm going to check out 4 of them, hopefully. This is the first one. But I'm not religious, so I don't know anything about what any of this means. But anyway, I'm going to park and then go in. So hopefully I should be able to get inside. All right, let's take a look. Oh, well, it's locked. So I cannot get in. There's actually no parking lot. It's strange. It's very windy. It's a beautiful day though. So I don't know. I guess that one's closed. I have been to one before, elsewhere. So I'm gonna drive around the circle and see if maybe the other door is open. Let me walk over here. There is a cemetery and really beautiful day. The breeze feels amazing. It is a very, very beautiful part of Texas, in like the hill country, which is, I'm kind of like halfway to the hill country. So let me see if there's another door that's open. I thought churches are open all the time. Are you supposed to have like freedom of religion or something? Like you can go anytime and worship. So I don't think I can get in. These doors over here don't have handles. What do they do? And I don't see anybody. The other people said they went to the churches. So that one's locked. Okay. All right, well, I will go to the next one, which is like 10 minutes away. They're all pretty close together. But yeah, very strange they don't have a parking lot. Where would you park your car if you come here? I guess on the grass? I don't know. Anyway, it's very beautiful inside. You can see kind of some of the mosaic window. And it's not like one of those things, once you've seen one painted church, you've seen them all. They're all very different. So I'm going to go, this is Saturday, so I guess they're not open. So I'm going to go around and then go to the next one. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's supposed to be beautiful inside, but who knows? Okay, I'm at the next church. This is St. Mary's Czech Catholic Church, and it looks like there's cars here, so hopefully I can go in. We'll see. Can I park? Oh, there's a parking lot on the other side. Okay, I'll turn around. Okay, let's see if I can go in. Is the door open? Yes. So, yeah, okay. There's a church. I know nothing about it. So this is the next church, and I've actually been to this one before, I just remembered. But, you know, we'll go in again. It should be open. Okay, so I'm going to park here because it says no tour buses, RVs allowed in this area. And I don't feel like parking over there. So there's two people walking out. So it's open. I've been here before. So this one is St. Mary's, and it's very, very pretty. Okay, so that one's done, and let's go see one more, and then I'm hungry, so I need food. And this is barbecue country, so maybe I can get some barbecue. So what happens if I ring the bell? Tempted to pull the rope. Yeah, my German's a little rusty. I can speak it if I'm there and I need to like get directions or order food or anything like that. Okay, last one. That same group's like following me. I guess they're doing a tour. That's funny. Okay, this is the last church that I'm going to today, and the other ones are in more of a cluster like elsewhere. So let's see if this one is open. I see one car. I don't know. So some of these are in Polish, some are in Czech, and some are in German, which is basically the the people that lived here. So this is the first Czech settlement in Texas in 1856. A group of Czechs arrived under a large oak tree in what is now Dubina. Dubina once had a cotton gin, grist mill, hotel, general store, saloon, blacksmith shop, post office, telegraph office, a bunch of other stuff, and a zoo. It was a cultural center of the region, and the first church in Dubina was built in 1877, had over 600 families, and then it was destroyed by a hurricane because it's Texas. So everything's destroyed by a hurricane. If you go to Galveston, most of the people that lived there back in the day left after the second hurricane, and they decided not to stick around for the rest of them. These are so pretty. This is like the bluest church I've ever been in. The previous one was the queen of painted churches. It was really, really pretty. This one I kind of like too. It's kind of like a nursery, you know, like blue stars, blue and gold stars. And it's much smaller. Yeah, really pretty. Who knew? Who knew Texas had so much culture? So if you skip Texas because you don't like the politics, that's fine and understandable, but at least, you know, the immigration culture is pretty phenomenal. And as you can hear, I sound not American, so, although I am American, but I grew up in England. But there is a really interesting diversity in the history, especially the European from the late 1800s. I don't think we really had a gold rush or anything like that, so it's not like Colorado or California, Utah, that kind of stuff. But we definitely had a lot of immigration that established our food. So we're good on the food. It's really pretty. Okay, so that's it for painted churches. Definitely check these out in Schulenburg, which is on the 10 freeway on the way to San Antonio from Houston. It's about an hour and a half west of Houston, probably about an hour from San Antonio, maybe just a little bit further, I think an hour and a half from San Antonio. And get some barbecue while you're here. Really, really pretty. Yep. Okay, that's all. I'm gonna head back now.